Hello, welcome to Claret and Blue. Good morning. It's fixture release day. My name is Dan Rolinson. I'm joined by John Townley to talk through the fixtures. And I'll say it early because I say it every year and it's a tradition now at this point. Breaking news, Aston Villa play every other team home and away. Let's get that out of the way. We're going to dive into the first game, the tricky kind of fixtures where the Europa Conference League draws happen and those games kind of slot into the fixture list as well. But before we get into all that, John, how are you first of all? Busy morning.
Really busy morning. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm always really excited on this day, and I know that you're not, so I'm going to try and bring that balance, over to. I mean, how can you not be excited? It's a new season ahead, like all the fixtures.
I'm excited from that point of view that this is like, how we did the video last week and it was like, do we call the season just gone last season already? Like now that the fixtures are out, like that is last season now, like we now build up to next season or this season coming up. So I am excited for the new season, of course, but kind of like, who do we play first? Who do we play last? It's like, well, we play everybody twice, so I'm not really that bothered, but I understand the excitement. Like I said, I'm more intrigued about where the Europa Conference League things happen and where the Carabao Cup draws are and things like that. So we'll talk through it. We'll talk through it. I've got graphics prepared for the first six and the last six. Besides that, I haven't had time to do anything else, but we'll have obviously this is an audio podcast as well, so we'll read out when fixtures are and dates and things like that. And obviously those things can still change with TV selections, and there'll be plenty of Sunday games for Aston Villa as well. So the kind of the dates at the moment are a little bit irrelevant. There's some building work going on outside, by the way. I've got to have the windows open because it's absolutely roasting. Before we get into the fixtures, though, because it's almost 20:20. Fixtures came out at 9, so if everyone has seen that we've got Newcastle first, so I'm in no rush to kind of break that, so to speak. It's all everyone will already be prepared for that. The thing that I like, you're saying like it's like an exciting day. This is probably a different one for us, really. Like the leaks, I quite like that side of it because I know that most of them are nonsense, or almost all of them are nonsense. That like there was one yesterday of like a picture of somebody holding like a piece of paper that got like top secret Premier League fixtures on. Everyone's like, "Oh, Villa have got Sheffield United." It's like, no, please don't believe things like that. Like it's just not true. They are sent out early to press with a kind of I think it's a 9 a.m. embargo, so we get them before 9 a.m. to prepare stories and images and whatnot. So we were privy to them earlier than that, but you can't do anything with that. You can't share what they are early and break the embargo, but some people will do that. I've always said every year I would love to be us to be one of the people that creates one of those fake documents that like, so we create a leak just to like be involved in that side of it. But we're a professional organisation and we shouldn't do that. But yeah, how do you assess like the leaks and stuff? Do you even care about things like
that? I think it's a bit weird. People go to the lengths they go to, like you can tell that they've like staged the photo and everything as well. Like someone randomly walking with the first 2 pages, like yeah. It's funny. Yeah, you're right. It happens every year, and fans fall for it. But now the actual fixtures have come out. I wish that those were the real ones.
Yeah.
It's a tricky start for Villa. Like, it really is.
Let's talk about that start then.
Yeah, we are a good team. Let's just get that out of the way. So teams will look at us as a very tricky fixture, but we have 3 home games in the first 8.
That's not great, is it?
I'm not sure how they've done it, but surely that hasn't happened before. You can't have 3 and 8.
It's a random generated thing, isn't it? Like I said at the start, you play everybody twice, so like looking at where the tough fixtures are and stuff. But
there needs to be a bit of an equal balance, and that's kind of tipping over that. Because that's up until the October international break as well. So we play Everton, Palace, and Brighton at home, and then the other games, 5 games, are all away from home. So again, it's a good thing that Villa are quite useful these days, and we're good away from home too. So it's not like a huge worry, but I just thought it was slightly unequal.
Yeah, and it is random, but obviously, again, I was having it early. We've had to kind of look into some different stats and things like that. Out of the 28 opening day fixtures in the Premier League before this one that Aston Villa have played, 19 of those 28, so now 20 of the last 29, have been away from home on the first day of the season. That seems like, again, it should be a 50-50 split, shouldn't it? Because it's random, but we always seem to be away on the first day, which usually means you're away on the final day as well. And this year it's Newcastle, but it's the last couple of years, or a few of the last couple of years, have been a promoted team on the first day as well. Like that seems to happen to us quite a lot as well.
Yeah, it does, and it's just it's completely random. But we've been away quite a few times now. I think when we played Sheffield United at home in the lockdown season, 2021. If I'm not mistaken, I think we were supposed to have Man City first away from home. I don't know if that was included in the stat you read out, but yeah, tricky start for Villa. I haven't looked into the sort of the details in mid-season, but obviously it's going to equal itself out. You don't play more away games than not. So, yeah, we'll have home games piling up during the middle part of the season because we finished the season away from home as well. So, and then Boxing Day's away from home, so that there's no real home. Burnley, which is on New Year's, or unless your birthday is celebrated on a home game, there isn't really like an event, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it feels like we miss out a little bit, don't we, if you're not an away match goer. Yeah, let's have a look at the first 6 then, because I have made a graphic, so I might as well use it. First 6 fixtures for Villa in the Premier League specifically: Newcastle away, Everton at home, Burnley away, Liverpool away, Crystal Palace at home, and Chelsea away. Now, those dates there, I know the first one specifically, the 12th of August, is a Saturday. I think at the moment that's scheduled to be a 5:30 kickoff, so you would assume that that's going to be the Sky TV game. The rest of those are Saturday 3 p.m. as of right now, because the other fixtures haven't been confirmed for TV broadcast yet. So some of those dates that I've got there on that graphic could be different. That Liverpool is the second, but it could be the first, things like that. Yeah, that should go without saying. You look at that fixture list though: Newcastle, Liverpool, Chelsea are probably the 3 standouts, but Burnley away is a banana skin. Everton at home was the first home game of the season, nice, and flashbacks to first season in the Premier League. Yeah, how do you assess that first 6 then? Tricky, do you think is the word?
Yeah, I think so. But again, Villa are a very tricky opponent for every team in the Premier League. So, but I think you're just looking at it in terms of, you want to get off to a good start. You want to take maximum points. But you want to take as many points as you can over the first 5 or 6 games. So I think looking at that, if I quickly bring up my fixture list again, 1 second. I mean, how many points are you looking from there? I mean, obviously it's a bit early to say, the transfer window only opened yesterday, but
for those first 6,
I think you need to win your home games for a start. I think Brighton would be our 7th game, in all fairness, but Everton, Palace at home, you have to win those 2, obviously. I think if you can get anything out of Liverpool away and Newcastle away, I'd snap your hand off for it, even a point, because again, we're not in a situation now where we have to win every game or every game. When Emery came in, we were, how many points away from the European positions? We're starting on an even keel. So over the course of a season, we could lose the first game to Newcastle. It's not going to be the end of the world. It would just be a bit of a disappointing one, because you open the new campaign with a defeat. And
we are used to that, losing on the first day.
I mean, hopefully we don't do that. But what I'm saying is, if you don't pick up your points against Liverpool or Newcastle away, well, then not many teams will do that. Those are probably the best 2 home teams, apart from Man City, in the division. So very difficult start. But flip side, get them out of the way early, I suppose. Again, it's a really long season, especially next season for Villa, if they can get into the Conference League group stage and beyond that. So, yeah, it's exciting, but I just wish we maybe had a couple more home games in there.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, the lack of home games in that first. I think you said, was it 8, 3 games at home feels certainly an imbalance, isn't it, to put it politely. Going back to the leaks and stuff at the start, those people kind of, it's the classic engagement bait tweet, isn't it? Who would you like to see us play first? Who would you like the first home games to be, and things like that. And I saw a few people suggesting that they would like to play somebody like Man City first, because, or example of a big club, a big side, somebody you expect to be at the top, because the assumption is that they kind of kick into gear as the season goes on, so kind of get them out of the way early. Is there any kind of analysis that you can see there? It's Newcastle away. If it was Newcastle at Villa Park, I think it's slightly different. Is there any kind of credence to that you play Newcastle before they get up and running and start churning results out, or am I kind of clutching?
I'm not sure, but we play Newcastle, don't we, in the USA? So
yes.
That's another quirk. I don't know how many weeks that will be until the season starts. I'll quickly look for you. By Newcastle on the 24th, I think that's USA time. So it will be about two weeks, just over 2 weeks.
Of course, yeah. I was thinking it was June. Yeah, of course, yeah. Late July, isn't it? And then obviously the first game of the season is early August, yeah.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks before the season starts. So, yeah, live on, I presume, Sky Sports as well, 5:30. Yeah, I personally would have liked to have avoided a Newcastle because of, I think it's different. I think they're different to Man City in a way because
yeah, obviously, yeah.
Stadium, and I don't know. I think that's going to be a really difficult game for Villa to start with. Which is a bit of a shame to say you want to get off to the best start possible. But
I mean,
then
yeah, we're saying it's a difficult start, but we could easily win that game, the first game of the season as well. And
wouldn't
come
say
on, no, not easily, but I mean,
it's
there's one of three
possibility, of
outcomes,
course
isn't
it is,
there? There's draw, win, or defeat. Like it's possible that Villa win the first game. I'm not going to write it off.
No, but if I had to pick two teams who I didn't want to play away from home, it would be them or Man City. So yeah.
But then again, the flip side of that, we've started easy in seasons gone by with Watford and Bournemouth and lost them. So
I know.
Again, it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? This is what I mean.
Yeah, let's stop recording.
Let's just go for those first 6 things. I do want to move on to the Conference League, because that excites me more. How many points there from that first 6? What are you going to put your neck on the line and predict?
Yeah, so you need to beat Everton and Palace, and you need to beat you're probably going to have to beat one of Burnley or Chelsea away as well. So put 9. I think Villa can get about 10 points from that. I think that'll be a good return, and I say a very good return actually, because again, like, if this was the back end of the season, last season, or whatever, and you're thinking, oh, well, we're going to have to try and go into every game and win it, that's going to be the mentality this season. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world. You're only dropping 2 points when you're not behind the 8 ball from the get-go, like we were under Emery when he first joined. So, yeah, I think get what you can from those first 6. Your home games are important, but Villa are very good away from home, which is obviously in our favour too. Yeah, tricky start, but it's the Premier League. It's always going to be difficult, isn't it? So can't really, to be fair, the first home games are also good. So Everton and Palace, they're you got to look at those as bankers for 3 points. So.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments then before we get into the rest of it from Rob. Happy to get Newcastle and Liverpool out of the way, out of the way. Yeah, kind of agree to an extent as well with that. Michael says, don't count the points. It's bad luck. One game at a time. We shouldn't fear anybody. We battered Newcastle at home, and Unai wasn't in charge when they battered us at home. And Unai has a whole pre-season to calculate a strategy against Newcastle. In Unai we trust. Yeah, that's what I like to see. That's more like it.
Us playing them in pre-season, again, not going to make a whole difference, but I think that would be more of an advantage to us than what it would be for them. So,
and also, as much as we're saying like Newcastle away is this tricky start for Villa, Villa at home is a tricky start for Newcastle. That the pressure is on them. They're now in the Champions League. They want to start the season off with a bang. The home crowd will be obviously up for it. If we get an early goal and things like that, you think, well, maybe we can kind of get at them in that sense. So, I think Newcastle fans will be looking at Villa at home and think, well, that's not a gimme.
No, I mean, definitely isn't for them. But at the same time, I think they sort of relish those occasions, don't they? At St. James's, that whenever the games are on Sky, they seem to win 5-0. So, no, again, I'm not underplaying us. We've been better than them over the course of 2023 and since Emery first came in. So it's not having a weak mentality with it. It's just that Newcastle away is a very difficult game any point in the season, especially at the start. And it would have been nice to have opened it with a home game, because we usually don't. But the first 2 home games, as I say, are quite, well, they're very good. So yeah, hopefully over that course of the first 6, we can get a decent points return, and then it's nearly the October international break already. After that, international break's fast. So
let's just flash that graphic back up again. Obviously, I've made this for Premier League only, but I just want to talk about the Europa Conference League playoff games. So between Everton and Burnley, the playoff first leg will be played on the 24th of August. So that would obviously move Burnley back probably to the 27th, the Sunday. And then the playoff second leg is between Burnley away and Liverpool away. So again, you'd probably expect Liverpool to be moved as well. And then it's the September international break between Liverpool and Palace. Which goes, I mean, international break in September and October is very irritating. But again, that's a talking point now that Villa's game will be moved to Thursday. We're coming back to away games after we've played in Europe as well. Obviously, again, I've got the fixtures list in front of me that's got Europa Conference League group stage match week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all the way through to the quarters, semis, and the final. We don't need to go that far just yet. Let's just talk about that playoff round first of all. As much as we're saying it's something to look forward to. But if we're saying 10 points from that first 6 to be good, you're also throwing in a 2-legged playoff in between those games as well. So it's 8 games for Villa in that first 6 period of Premier League games. That will have an impact.
It'll have an impact throughout the season. Whether Villa can manage it or not, we'll wait and see on that front. But the game's going to come thick and fast, and Emery wants it that way. I think that's sort of a key point to stress. I think it probably depends who you get drawn against as well. Not to sort of downplay any team, but I think West Ham had a game in Cyprus and it was against Larnaca or something, and they're not very good. So I don't think that would disrupt Villa at all, really, apart from the travelling. But it's like first class travel, isn't it? So I don't think it'd be too bad. Burnley away, Liverpool away. I mean, they're not horrendous journeys, are they? What is it, 2 hours or so to get up there?
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll be too bad. I think it's later on in the season, especially if Villa finish second in their group. I know we're looking a bit further on now, but if they can avoid the knockout playoff, which is going to take place if Villa finish second in their group, and then they'll be playing against either the second place teams or teams that dropped out from the Europa League, I believe.
Yeah.
And that'll be February, and that is going to be a very hectic period because you've just come out of, or you're just going into, not the run-in, but the back end of the season. You don't want to be playing what it would be Man United at home, then a playoff game, Fulham away, then playoff game, and then Forest. So you play you play about 6 or 7 games in February, which could easily be avoided down to like 5 if we top the group, if we get into the group stage. So yeah, I mean, throughout the season, this article is about to go on Birmingham Live, actually, basically a list of all of the...
we'll link it in the comments of the YouTube video afterwards.
It's a while to produce, but it's a good rundown of when Villa travel to somewhere and then play Wolves, for example, or Tottenham away is just before the second last group stage game after the November international break. So it's good to get like a holistic view of everything that's happening. I was annoyed because the FA Cup games or dates haven't been released yet, which is a shame because that would have been nice to throw in there as well. But yeah.
Before we get to the end of the season, I want to go kind of run through where we think like the trickiest point of the season is or something like that as well. Other notable fixtures, of course, Boxing Day, again, away from home, Man United. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff as it stands, but again, it's miles away. That could easily be changed. New Year's Day is...
no game on New Year's Day, but New Year's...
No game on New Year's Day?
No, well, it depends when the fixtures, they're obviously going to get changed. You'll have some on New Year's, some on New Year's Eve, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so that's Burnley, isn't it? That fixture. End of the season, then let's talk about that. The final 6, the run-in, I suppose you would call it. This is where Villa are going to be fighting for their last few points of the season to qualify for the Champions League, of course, as I've already predicted. Again, no easy games in the Premier League, but that looks tricky to me. Yeah. Very similar end to the season with Brighton and Liverpool in the final 2 of the last 3 games, like this season was. Arsenal away, Chelsea at home in there. Palace away on the final day is, again, not a good cliche here, but not an easy place to go. You'd like to think that they're not playing for anything on the final day of the season, though, so Villa do need something like you could go there and get it. I mean, I'm already predicting here that Palace finish like 12th again, because that's what they always do. And Bournemouth, again, this season have been good and overperformed, but maybe Bournemouth are in a relegation battle by the end of April next season, and that's an easy game at home for us. But overall, looking at those kind of club badges there, Chelsea, Brighton, Liverpool, Arsenal, again, looks tough.
Yeah. You can make an argument for all those teams, bar Palace, to be fighting for something at that point in the season.
Yeah.
Which is obviously an issue. But again, I think Villa just have to concentrate on themselves this season or next season. Only what we do will impact where we finish, really. But those games are tricky. There's no doubt in it. I just hope the middle of the season looks a whole lot better than the start and the end. Have
you had a chance to look through like favourable moments, sort of tricky moments? Okay, let's do it live then.
I'll have a quick. I can have a quick scan now.
So I'm scanning through, and I think December looks difficult. First of all, obviously, because there's loads of games in December, the Christmas period is infamous, isn't it? So you've got, and again, I've got no graphics for this prepared, so excuse me for just reading. You've got Bournemouth away, Man City at home, Arsenal at home, back-to-back, Brentford away, Sheffield United at home, Man United away on Boxing Day, and Burnley at home on New Year's Eve, the 1st of January, whatever date that gets picked for. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in December. That looks tricky. I'm kind of looking for this period where we play loads of games at Villa Park, and that doesn't really seem to crop up anywhere.
February and March, I think, are quite favourable. Sheffield United away, the Man United at home, Fulham away, Nottingham Forest, Luton, Tottenham. To be honest, they're all a mixed bag, aren't they?
Like I said, I don't see many fixtures where we play a lot of games at Villa Park in a row. I suppose you got Man City, Arsenal, and Sheffield United, 3 and 4 games at home.
Yeah, going from October to December, there's a couple of back-to-back home games, but which will balance from what we had at the start of the season. So
to be fair, you go Wolves away, West Ham at home, Luton at home, Forest away, and Fulham at home. It's 5 games in a row where I'll be looking for near maximum points, to be honest, if we're competing towards the top 6.
Fulham away in Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, that's a decent period, to be fair.
Tricky one against December. But yeah, to be honest, I look at it as play up to the October international break, which is Wolves away. That's the final. So your first 8 games before the October international break, 3 are at home. And then you have some tricky away games in there. Let's see where we are after that. That will be your first 8 games. And after that run is what you've just said there, Dan. So you play West Ham at home, Luton at home, Nottingham Forest away, Fulham at home. Then it's the November international break. So if I was to split up the first half of the season, if you will, then that's how I'd do it. And I think Villa will be in a good place after that. I think we'll be going into the second half of the season, hopefully still in the Conference League and doing well, pushing to win our group. And going into December, we're in a good position in the league. And I think that will be as good a start as we can make, really.
Yeah. I said I didn't want to look too far ahead, but I am going to because we're here now. Carabao Cup final, 25th of February, after Nottingham Forest at home and before Luton away. You then have the Europa Conference League round of 16, first and second leg around that time as well. A March international break before the Europa Conference League quarterfinals between Brentford, Arsenal and Bournemouth. And then May, again, talking about the end of the season, looking tricky with Chelsea, Brighton, Liverpool, Palace in the league. You'd have a Europa Conference League semi-final at the start of May, and then the final, obviously, the 29th of May. Massively getting ahead of ourselves here, of course, but what else do you expect from this podcast? We're assessing a whole 38-game Premier League season. Like, we've got to look further into the distance. Very quick, though, because I'm keen to wrap this up because we've come to the end of everything that I really wanted to talk about. There's 300 people watching this live at the moment, so leave a comment in the live chat. How many points do you think we'll get from that first 6? Flashing up again very quickly. I think 10 points, you're right, is probably about the mark you'd be looking for, winning 3 and drawing 1 somewhere. If you win the first game, of course, against Newcastle, then you never know what that momentum can take you, and you might be talking about that you've won the first 3 possibly, and you kind of get carried away a little bit. But then you have got that Conference League knockout game in their early doors as well. But again, I don't fear anyone really, and I said this towards the back end of last season that I fancy us against anybody under Emery, and I'm intrigued to see how he does over the course of a full season now, because obviously we all expect him. He's going to get that, because like you said in the live show that we did, Emery's kind of a sample pool of games played isn't that he's done well over 8 games or 15 games. He did very well over 25, 26 games. So if he can continue that with some proper pre-season planning, maybe 3, 4, 5 transfers over the next couple of weeks, a good solid pre-season tour, maybe we do get off to a flyer and have a great season, because the momentum is massive in football. And if you start well and you're always up and around, top 4, top 6, top 7, I would back Villa to, you see those graphs at the end of the season where Villa are doing this everywhere and they're kind of up and down, up and down. If you start well and you're around up the top, I'd expect Villa to be around the top 6 start the whole season.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you look at every game as singular, Newcastle, then Everton, then Liverpool, they don't look as scary when you look at it. When you look at it like that, I think you're just looking at over the first 6 games you look at it and think, or the first 8, only 3 home games, and then you go to Newcastle, you go to Liverpool, places where teams don't tend to win at. So they will be difficult, but like 10 minutes before each one of those games kicks off, I'll be confident that we're going to get a result. So it's kind of not irrelevant, but it's just nice to see how the season will map out basically for Villa. We don't know where we're going to be at the end of the season, but again, the end of it looks quite tricky. But every game is difficult in the Premier League, and as I say, if you take every game as they come, which Emery will do, and he'll have an individual plan for each game, then I don't think we'll go far wrong next season. I think it'll be really exciting campaign.
Yeah, that'll do us for now, I think. John, thanks for your time. As always, me and Matt are doing a show tomorrow morning. I think we're doing like a keep, sell, loan kind of thing where we assess the full Villa squad and work out who should stay, who should go. So do come back to Clark Blue and get involved in that debate with us. John, thanks for your time this morning, and crack on with the rest of your day. I know it's a very busy one, fixture release day, and thanks to everyone for watching live with us this morning as well. Some good points, targets, by the way, 12, 13, we're as good as anybody, 10 points, 13, 12, 18. That's what we like to see, 18 points. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with some more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then. Where's the outro? There we go.